Yes, I think you can. What's going on, GZTV? Back with another video, and here we are with Ozark. We're here with the Season 3 opener. I'm going to be getting this video out, and then I got to start editing my Drake album review for today. That's probably not going to be out till like 4 or 5. I'm going to be grinding that, so yeah. We're going to talk about Ozark for now, just so you guys can kind of have some content for a little bit, you know. The birds are kind of trying to find a path forward here in this season. It's kind of like the whole gist, I suppose. Just trying to keep us safe, says Marty Bird, played by Jason Bateman, who's been wonderful, throughout the show. Much of the dramatic foundation of the excellent Season 3 premiere of Ozark, and what will likely drive a lot of the entire season, is the fundamental difference in the way that Marty and his wife, Wendy, played by Laura Linney, see their situation and how they handle things, and we've kind of discussed that on the channel before. Since the beginning, Marty has been operating under a safety principle, hoping that there's a way back to normalcy if he can just keep his family from harm. Wendy's become increasingly restless with the stability of safety. After all, she's a political animal. Obviously, she's been in the field, she has experience. They don't sit still. She wants to thrive instead of just survive, and she sees opportunities where Marty sees shelter. Marty kind of wants to hide from everything and kind of just play it safe, play it kind of conservative, and Wendy has a whole different approach to that, and I think it's really interesting. So, yeah. If you're going to be sheltered, why not make the biggest, most profitable shelter around? Well, Marty would say it's because of the unpredictability of the risk as you grow that shelter. And that's an element that's reflected through Wartime. The concept of the wild card, I guess, is kind of like what the FBI agent was saying. It's not just in the danger of expanding an empire while still under the watch of the feds. It's in keeping a hide like Frank Cosgrove Jr., played by Joseph Sikora, on the staff, or putting someone like Ruth, played by Julia Garner, in a situation where she feels like her skills are being wasted. She doesn't really feel like she's reaching her full potential, working with the birds and, that sort of thing. Most crime shows eventually get to a point in which they analyze the flaws in an empire, whether it's the big pussy arc on The Sopranos or the lengths Walter White went to in order to keep Jesse Pinkman in line on Breaking Bad. And Sopranos is definitely a show I want to watch soon on the channel. So after Ozark is over, I think I'm going to go and watch that. So, yeah. This season of Ozark should be about keeping not just the Missouri Belle afloat, but also the empire the birds are kind of building atop it. This video is going to be really short, I think. I'm not in a rush or anything, but I don't know, there's not really, a whole lot to talk about this episode. I think it's really just straight to the point. I really appreciate that about the show too, don't get me wrong. Wartime opens with a horrific scene in Coahuila State, Mexico, I don't know how to say that, wherein a man murders dozens of people at a crowded market, another move in a violent cartel war. And it's really interesting. Again, this show really reminds you a lot about an Ozark, because obviously the drug trade is kind of at hand here. And yeah, sorry, I'm just doing this. I don't know why I like to do that. If that's a problem for you, my fault. I can't help it. I don't know. But it's really cool because in Breaking Bad they do kind of show different sides of the world, of this universe, and here we actually get to see kind of some of the shit that's going down with the cartel war, and I feel like this is going to be a big looming thing, big theme here in the season, so that's going to be really interesting how they play on that. Yeah. Whereas most people would see this as a cautionary sign of what could befall them if they continue to engage in illegal practices, Wendy sees this as an opportunity, which is pretty fucking psychotic if you ask me. I'm not sure how much I'm on her side. Yeah, there's a lot of sexism in the movie world, show world, whatever. They try to get you to not side with the female. Yeah, but I don't know. She's going to offer Kingpin Omar Navarro, played by Felix Solis, the kind of safety that her husband is seeking, the stability of a regular business. We don't want to just keep laundering money and keep engaging in illegal activities. We want to eventually be able to just live a normal life here. That was our goal, be financially comfortable, move some business around, and then just kind of chill out for a little bit. She sees a chance to expand the bird empire into another hotel casino in Missouri, giving the Navarro family a more stable way to launder their money than what's happening in Mexico, because they're directly dealing with drugs and using that to push their money around, when really that's not going to be stable for much longer, especially with this war going on. Eventually these people are going to get found and they're going to get killed most likely. This is a really dangerous thing to engage in, being in the drug trade and whatnot. Yeah. Of course, Marty hates the idea, but Wendy goes behind his back and meets Navarro with Helen Pierce, played by Jamie McTeer. by her side. I'm just kind of re-mentioning some of the cast members so you guys remember, I guess. Marty's become so used to Wendy doing whatever she wants that he's almost not even mad about it, especially as pressure rises to begin laundering through the bell. You know, they're getting the word from the cartel that they need to keep moving this money around, you know. After all, Marty is paying a woman to pretend to be their couple's therapist, so he's on thin ice when it comes to marital honesty anyway. You might as well go for it. I mean, she's lying, I'm lying, who gives a shit, you know. Back to the Bell, which has been open for a few months, but it's not yet laundering cartel money. They think there's going to be some people with an inside job. They don't want to really risk anything. That's super understandable. Marty is too scared to really get it going because of concern they're being monitored by possibly a Fed, by possibly a rival of the cartel. You never know, man. You really don't. Obviously, the mob is super mad at them for not getting them involved. So there's that too. They had to hire 200 people to open the casino. One is probably a Fed plan. There's a pretty decent chance there. But Ruth is getting frustrated collecting money at drops and just hoarding it. I mean, she wants to get moving, whether legally or illegally. I mean, she's too smart to be waiting 2 hours at a drop or babysitting the moronic Frank Jr. You can tell that she feels used, and honestly, as an audience member, I feel the same way about her. You know, she's definitely being used in that way. In fact, she's smart enough to know that Frank Jr. shouldn't be in the high-stakes poker game, but Marty overrules her. While Frank Jr. ends up being the distraction to what's really going on in the laundering operation, it's a bit surprising that Marty even allows him anywhere near the real dangerous stuff, as he's clearly going to be a problem, and he's clearly going to be a partial antagonist to kind of make up for the cast members we lost last season. Everything changes when Helen basically tells the birds that there's no more waiting. They have to start cleaning that cash. They have to get going, you know. And Marty knows that the high-stakes poker game is the best way to do it. Drama ensues when Frank Jr. can't hold his temper after losing on a bad beat, and Ruth has to kick him from the table. As an agent is warning Marty about a wild card, Frank Jr. is acting like one, threatening Ruth. So, yeah, it's all about wild cards here, isn't it? Frank Jr.'s, However, it's worth noting that Ruth doesn't back down at all, throwing Frank overboard, which is fucking savage and fucking amazing. Ruth, I don't want to say she's like an attention whore or anything because I love her character, but at times she really just wants to be known. She wants to be acknowledged, you know. Maybe she's the actual wild card in Marty's system, I don't know. Meanwhile, Wyatt, played by Charlie Tahan, is off the grid, breaking into rich people's homes and refusing to take any of Ruth's money. This guy's completely lost it, cause he's pretty much a normal animal at this point. After a meet cute at a jail, he somehow ends up in the web with a deadly Darlene, played by Lisa Emery, who is now a single mother after the death of Jacob, and she basically offers Wyatt a job. Get the fuck out of there, Wyatt. You need to go. Man. As for the Bird kids, their season starts slowly. Charlotte, played by Sophia Hublitz, actually seems relatively happy, and not just because mom is letting her drink a bit at home. And she buys Jonah, played by Skylar Gardner, a drone that will almost certainly play a role later in the season, it seems. You know, as Jonah kind of gets more and more involved with the show, you know, we get going. The show progresses. Jonah volunteers to use it to basically chart the area, surveilling the homes and systems nearby. Not weird at all, at least in the bird world. Nothing's really weird over there. Expertly directed by Bateman, who won an Emmy for his direction last year and could have. And I don't know if he did here. Wartime is a wonderful setup for a season that's looking to dwell on the tension between safety and progress. You want to be safe, but you also kind of want to move in the world and get your business booming, you know. We could run this goddamn place, Wendy tells Marty. He doesn't want that. I mean, Marty has always been a creature of safety, someone who spouts statistics about risk to anyone who will listen. Wendy is not. She's never going to be satisfied trying to get REO Speedwagon to the Missouri Bell for a dental convention. Neither is Ruth. Ruth and Wendy are kind of in the same boat here. She's not going to take shit from anyone, and she's not going to wait on the side of the road to be a courier. The only question is which is the wild card that's going to get Marty Bird in danger first. It's going to be super interesting, man. Those two are kind of clashing, and there's a lot of kind of parallels between those characters that you don't really see before, and I think it's awesome. So I really like how the show's kind of capitalizing on things. I'm out, guys. I got to get going editing this Drake video. I also have to watch the next episode of Ozark today. So, yeah. A lot of content stuff for me today.